Welcome to the I Hate Critics wait, not to the wrong podcast. Welcome to the I Hate Critics movie review podcast. I was thinking of the 96 podcast because I was just editing our most recent episode. So I apologize.
You like that one better than this one, don't you? You're like your sister better than your cousin.
Not exactly. We just watched Jack starring Robin Williams. So tell me how much I love that.
Yikes. This
Yeah.
week has much better movies than that.
Yeah, I'd say so. The I Hate Critics podcast. Thank you so much for being here. And Jeff, how are you?
I'm okay. Okay is about as good as I can do when it's either too hot or too wet to go outside and do anything fun for summer.
I gotta say, I want to admit something very odd is that I live in an apartment complex, and there are people across the street from me who have their door open all the time, and it just blows my mind. How do you live in an apartment building and you have your front door open all the time?
Are they deaf?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because my neighbor in my apartment complex, she's the greatest neighbor ever because I can turn my TV up. She has no idea. I can talk as loud as I want. She has no idea. Because she's deaf as a doornail.
We've got wonderful walls here. You cannot hear through these walls at my place. It's wonderful, honestly.
Yeah.
But like, if I step outside right now, I look across the street. They live in a building opposite me, and their door is just sitting wide open. And they do this like every day.
Is there a screen door or is it just a door?
Just a door, wide open. I can only imagine the rodent problem in that place.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a significant number of very cute raccoons in the area, but I don't want to play with them.
They're hoping that one of them will come in and be like, maybe Snow White lives there. Maybe it's just an open door policy for woodland critters. Because you could potentially, I mean, it is not beyond the realm of possibility that you could have a deer. Either one of us, because we live rather close to each other, either one of us could have a deer wander in if we left our doors open.
True.
I've seen multiple deer in my yard. I've seen multiple deer in your yard, practically. So, yeah. It's not beyond the realm of possibility that raccoons or possums or squirrels, especially squirrels, because squirrels are fucking dicks.
Well, especially
the geese of the animal kingdom.
Like, if they're hungry, they're gonna go looking for food, and if you've got your door open, there's gonna be like a trash can or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I hope they take care of the place at the same time. I mean, it's so bizarre to me. I've never seen anyone do this in an apartment building.
My last apartment in Chicago before I moved in with my friend and his husband, it was a nice apartment, but it had roaches everywhere because I was on the third floor, and it was during a party one time, and I saw something. I moved this picture that I had hanging on the wall, and like 4 roaches came out from behind it. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I'm aside from like how cluttered and messy my apartment is right now because I'm putting stuff away from a show I did last weekend. Aside from that, I'm very clean. Like my cat, I clean up after my cat pretty much daily. I scrub my kitchen pretty much twice weekly. I'm a clean person and I do not get roaches. Well, I've figured out because I came in a different way one day and I realized that the people on the first floor, it was kind of like a flop house for cab drivers. And their door stood open all the time also. And the smells coming from that kitchen, I can't imagine the roaches had to have been coming from there because it was just constant like goat and lamb and all sorts of stuff. And you could just, it permeated that whole like section of the porch. But I would always come in the front because that's where my mailbox was. Well, one day I came in the back and I was like, oh, that's where the roaches are coming from. And the mice.
Oh my god, I feel bad. I feel so bad now for my across the street neighbors. They've got to be just going insane having these people there. Um, these like one day I came home from the movies. It was late at night, and I'm walking, and I look over, and their door is wide open, and there's a man sitting in there looking out the door, and he has just this red light shining on his legs, just a bright red light only on his legs. I'm just like, are you an alien? What the fuck?
Maybe some sort of light therapy.
Maybe
But
I don't know, but it was fucking weird, man.
that is really weird. Maybe you live next to Francis Dollarhide from Red Dragon
Oh god.
or Manhunter. He liked the
I
red
think he would at
lights.
least close his door. He doesn't.
Well, that's true. So yeah,
Ugh.
I am blessed to have blessed. What the fuck is wrong with me? I don't believe in God. I am blessed with two really good neighbors and one neighbor I don't know very well.
Yeah. I've got
My
I've got two wonderful gay neighbors. They're just lovely young men who just never say a fucking word, and I never hear them. Ever.
I
Amy met them, and
my
that's all I know about them is they're two young gay men.
nice. My the one neighbor, her name I'm not going to tell you her name, but it's a very very famous movie name that I use all the time in my um but she just turned 80. She always has her blinds open when I walk by at night when I'm coming home from whatever I'm doing, and she's just sitting on her phone on her chair with her legs up and staring at her phone. I'm like, this is like walking by my 17-year-old niece. Um, and then my neighbor across the way, really really nice older guy. He's 76, and just absolutely the nicest neighbors I have. He's like, if you ever need anything, hit me up. I'll be happy to help you. I've given him rides, offered rides, whatever. He's just I'm really really lucky, and that's one of the reasons I haven't left this place. So,
Mm.
but
That's far too much interaction for me, but I understand it. It's good. I'm glad you're lucky to have good people because
plus I
I
can't afford a
cannot
house, so
I cannot possibly speak to a neighbor. If somebody knocks on my door, I leap 3 feet in the air.
you go hide in the back bedroom.
I just there's no reason for anybody to be here knocking on the door. There's just no reason for that. I don't like. I don't know. Have you ever had pop-ins? This seems like a thing. Kids, I'm going to tell you a story. There used to be a time when people would just pop by your house and just knock, and it'd be a friend, and they'd just, hey, how's it going? And they'd just like pop in. I have not seen a pop in 30 years, Jeff.
Well, it is kind of your personality. Uh, no, so okay, so
I think the
before
invention of the
smartphones,
cell phone is what ended the
yes,
pop in because then you can just text ahead and say, hey, are you busy? Can I stop by?
yeah. Before cell phones, before smartphones, people just did this. I
Yeah,
remember my mom had. You remember Pauline from
sure,
Princeton? She lived in the trailer court.
sure.
She would randomly pop in during the day during the summer, and oh, you know what, Margie? Do you have $5? I just need $5. I got to go to Bowls. She'd always come by, like pop in, and my mom one time the car was in the driveway. My sister was playing outside, and Pauline came, and she's like, "I'm not home. Go tell her I went for a walk." And so I went to the door and I told this lady, "Oh, I'm sorry, my mom's not home. She went for a walk." She goes, "I'll go find her." Drove around town. An hour later, she comes back and pulls into the driveway, and I couldn't find your mom anywhere. Where's she walking? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I wanted to say maybe she's shagging the neighbor, but I didn't. So,
Oh my
no,
god.
people used to do that shit all the time,
All
and
the
it was
time.
horrifying.
Yeah. I get that
I
I would randomly wake up to people like my brother's friends just being there, just being in our house.
Yep. Literally, okay, I've lived in my apartment for about almost 3 years, right?
Mhm.
Almost 4 years now. It'll be 4 years next month, and I have only had you and Bob when we record together, our cousin Chris and her family, my sister and her 2 daughters are the only people who have ever visited my apartment. I thought, oh no, and my friend Rita, who's like an aunt to me. I thought when I moved back here, I want to find a place that's welcoming, that looks nice, that I can, show my stuff off. Because I'm sure that our 2 remaining aunts out of 9 will come and visit and, want to hang out and see my place
Uh-huh.
and whatever. Not once in 4 years have they ever been to my apartment. um, I, I, okay, I guess I'm not counting hookups because I've had a few hookups. I'm not going to lie, but they don't count because I'm not trying to impress them. Well, not that way. Um, but it's like I have had people who have like, oh yeah, I want to come and look at your Star Wars collection. Please do. I love showing it off. You've seen it, Sean. You know how
Oh yeah,
impressive it is.
it's incredible.
And now that I'm doing Fisher Price Adventure People, even better. But I don't. I don't have anybody to invite over. All my friends that lived here, I either don't talk to them anymore, or they've moved to Florida or Arizona or somewhere because we're old. Um, so I'm just me and my kitty, and occasionally you and Bob.
Yeah. We grew up at a time when there was like it used to be like when people would have parties like every weekend.
Mhm.
Like my
Yeah,
parents did every
yeah,
weekend. But they were also alcoholics. So maybe
yeah.
maybe alcoholics are having a good time.
And our parents used to get together and play cards all the time.
All the time. All the time.
So, we came from a big family too, so everybody was always, hosting something. We'd go to our grandparents' house. Um, just that was just it was just a party atmosphere, and now nobody does it.
Yeah. Because all the drunks are dead.
Well, it's true. And now we're just making potheads, and they don't wanna hang out with anybody.
Oh, maybe all it was the alcohol. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe that's I just need to start drinking and I'll have a social life.
Oh, you're not wrong. Because on Wednesdays, the one thing I do during the week other than the podcast is go on Wednesday nights to Name That Tune trivia, and that involves alcohol. That's the reason some of our relatives wanna do it.
Makes sense.
But, I mean,
But
you have to.
returning to what you mentioned about hookups, I think that's a good segue into our first movie of the week, don't you think?
God, it could be either one of them.
Let's talk about I Want Your Sex, Gregg Araki's new movie. What do you say?
Yes.
Uh,
Let's.
Olivia Wilde stars in this one alongside Cooper Hoffman. He's a young, maybe he wants to be an artist, maybe he wants to be a podcaster. He just wants to be in the art world, and he has this fascination with this artist played by Olivia Wilde. He gets a job working in her gallery as one of her many assistants, and she decides to start fucking him because she sees that he potentially could make a great submissive. And this is where we're getting into a situation where we're exploring the ideas of different sorts of sexuality, and it's classically kind of Gregg Araki in the way that it's challenging and unique and interesting, and he's just such a great director. He's just such a smart, interesting
Mhm.
director. He's constantly pushing the envelope and pushing big questions, and I found it fascinating. He doesn't condemn the youth for being this perception, like a lot of I see a lot of media where people are like calling this generation prudes or saying that they don't like sex. And it's more, I think what Cooper Hoffman hit on something is that like there's a lot of generational trauma going on that's kind of kept people apart. Like we were just talking about how,
Mhm.
we've grown apart from people around us. And I think that's what these kids are dealing with is a disconnected generation that brought them up continuing that disconnection going forward, and it makes them kind of uncertain and scared, and plus, there's a lot of people going, "Well, I want to be having sex regularly at the same time, I don't want to be pushy and, try and get someone to do something they don't wanna do." And I do understand that, I do. And I think this movie is very smart in how it asks those questions without being mocking Olivia Wilde is a little bit mocking, but that's also the character is just a bitch, just a
Yeah,
straight up
yeah.
bitch, and she's totally cool with that. But it's also just what I mean. Again, her and Anne Hathaway are like competing to have the best year right now because they're
Yep.
just both crushing in everything that they do. She is so amazing in this, and and Cooper Hoffman. I mean, where that kid was willing to go in this movie, lots of
Mhm.
he took some big swings, and I was really, really impressed.
I I don't like redheads, and I just thought he was the cutest thing in this movie. He was so adorable and not not in a dumb way, although he kinda was a little dumb, but he was so earnest
Mhm,
that he just, he's a regular guy. He's kinda horny, but not he's not the horny one of the movie. This isn't like an American Pie where the guy is just trying to get sex at any cost all the time. This is he likes it, but he's kind of exploring himself while Olivia Wilde is also exploring him. Um, but he's just there's something about him that's adorable, and I know that his dad was Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he's got the acting genes and whatever, but there's something about him that is more cuddly. I don't know, more winsome than Philip Seymour Hoffman because he always played characters that had a little bit of a kind of an ick factor. No matter what the character was, there was always an underlying ick. The first time his first role was on Law& and Order, and he played a rapist.
mhm.
So I mean, that maybe set the tone for his career, but, he always there was something a little skeezy and icky about Philip Seymour Hoffman no matter what he was playing, even if it was, earnest, whereas I don't get that from Cooper Hoffman.
No, I
He's
don't.
he
I think also, like, to your point, I think his dad had this air of sadness to him, like a sort of that
Mhm.
slump-shouldered things. Even in his most confident, forward roles, there was always like if it wasn't sadness, it was a lot of anger. His son doesn't quite have. Not that he couldn't have that; he certainly could, but he seems more bright and optimistic, and especially in comparison to his dad.
Yeah. Well, I feel like so Philip Seymour Cooper Hoffman could play any role that Philip Seymour Hoffman played, but I don't know that Philip Seymour Hoffman could play this role,
Yeah,
at the same age. And I think that's actually a really big compliment coming from me because he was such a huge, wonderful actor that, he could do almost anything. But I think his whole persona and his personality, I don't think he could have pulled this off the same way as Cooper does. Um,
amen. Mhm.
Olivia Wilde, oh my god, she is I think she's the most gorgeous on screen that the way that she's shot in this movie that she's ever been. Uh, Gregg Araki loves her face and he loves her body, and it shows. Just the way he frames her, the way he has her posed, um, the I mean, even the scenes where she's not supposed to be sexy, like when they're at the beach and they're I think it's the beach and they're just having lunch
Mhm.
and it's kind of a date, and she still is just like the most beautiful thing. Um, he has really kind of grown as a director,
Mhm.
and I think he really knows how to frame a shot and shoot everybody the absolute most beautiful they could possibly be.
Yeah, and
Mason Gooding.
we're gonna talk about one of his older films, later in the show, and you can sense that he's much less hyperactive now, and it was a great obviously, patience comes with time, and, uh, not that the hyperactivity was bad, I love how hyper that movie is, but
Yeah,
I I think he's settled in a little bit. He's still asking big, bold questions and pushing big, bold moments, and he's certainly not shying away from anything, but it's less it's less intense, even
and
as we're
it's not as
talking about something
cynical.
very, very tense.
Yeah. It's cynical, but not as darkly cynical
Oh
as,
God, yes.
I mean, there's cynicism, but it's more of that. This is more like I, I don't know if you'll get this reference, but this is more of the Abbey in WeHo kind of gay sensibility and cynicism, as opposed to the Eagle in New York kind of cynicism. You're not going to get that, but there's a gay guy who's going to listen to this out there who's going to be like, "Oh, I totally get that." Um, that kind of dark
Mhm,
cynicism versus that light, bright, with an air of cynicism about it.
mhm,
Um, just I was glad to see Margaret Cho in this movie. She is one of his frequent collaborators, and with good reason, because she's fucking amazing. I love Margaret Cho so much. Had I known she was in this movie, we could have picked any one of her stand-ups to do a classic about, because I could have talked about her for hours. Um, but she's one of his frequent collaborators. James Duval, who shows up in this, obviously. Um, but he's got mostly new people that he's working with. And I really think that maybe has energized him a little bit, because he's 65, and the average age in this movie is probably about 30. And I think that really is a reflection of how he's in a different phase of his career and life, and he's, you know, much happier than,
mm,
say, like the Doom generation or Nowhere.
mhm.
So, this was possibly my favorite movie of the week, although I really did like the other one that I saw in the movie theater the next day, that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I I just everything about this movie, I was like, this is one that I'm gonna have to own so that I can watch it over and over again.
And this whole cast is pretty is pretty fantastic. But what do you think of Mason Gooding as Zap?
First of all, that name is fucking ridiculous. Um, Second of all, he was definitely playing a pretty gay guy, because it was pretty on brand. Um, and the fact that he looks like he does, it's not beating any of the allegations that a lot of my gay friends are throwing around about him, which I don't think they're true. But um, he was he was just serious enough, but playing it tongue in cheek. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Like, oh no, I'm definitely having an orgy over here, and you have to leave. And normally that would be a laugh line in any other movie, but this one is like, no, that's literally what's going to happen.
mhm.
So, bye. Um,
The kid just seems like he can do anything. It just seems like he can just nail any character, and his flexibility is just incredible to me. Just the because he seems to like I just saw him in something else that I hated, but the Kevin Hart movie,
oh
but he like just it's such he's such a natural that it doesn't, even being in a bad movie doesn't affect my opinion of him.
yeah, yeah. He was just. I feel like he was kind of the stand-in for Greg Araki,
Mm,
Araki, however you say it.
mhm.
Um, I hate to say Iraqi because it makes him sound like he's Iraqi. But
No,
there's nothing wrong with that.
that's what it is. I listened to him on a podcast today talking
Oh,
about
okay.
Doom Generation, and yeah, that is how he says it, Araki.
Okay. Yeah, I think that he's the stand-in character who sees it all, knows what's going on, and knows how it's going to end. And he's just he's just jaded, and in the best way.
Yeah,
So,
I love this movie. I think this is one of the best of the year, honestly.
mhm.
Um, it's incredibly entertaining. It's very bold. It's fascinating questions, and it really had me thinking about subjects that I'd never really given much thought to. So it's really
Gay
fascinating.
orgies. Well, and the thing is it's a short movie. And it goes by really quickly. It's like
Mhm.
I wanted more, and I don't normally want more from, we talk about like, oh my God, another 3-hour fucking movie. How am I going to deal with that? But this was like, I could have stood another 15, 20 minutes of this movie. Um,
All I'll say is this.
The credits were great.
All I'll say is this, is that between seeing Kathleen Turner in Crimes of Passion for the first time and now seeing Olivia Wilde in this movie, I definitely have some things to work out sexually.
Oh.
I definitely have some things to think about.
Fair enough. I mean, Sean, I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Kathleen Turner movies?
Well, maybe. I'll just have somebody dress up like her.
Hey, all right. Just have her yell at me.
Okay. I will. If she was like that character in real life, I bet she would. She is not. I've told this story before. She's very prim and proper, and she doesn't even curse. So,
wow, that's crazy. I don't care. She's Crimes of Passion now. That's all I can see when I look at her. Love that movie. And by the way, give me Olivia Wilde in a Crimes of Passion remake, please.
I would not be mad about that.
That could work. But I'm not a big fan of remakes, but that could work.
After doing this movie, I don't think she has to. I think this is her Crimes of Passion.
I mean, between this and The Invite, I mean, my God, what this woman. Right?
Yeah,
and look at the flexibility on her. Like, those two characters couldn't be more different from each other. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, she is like an earnest character in that one who's just kind of horny. And here she's a bitch who is very horny, and she just wants you to know about it. I love one of the lines on the poster. I don't remember who said it, but it was like a call to the youth of today to get off their screens and get laid. And I think that might be the thesis of the movie, is that everybody is so into themselves and not going out and not doing anything. A, because we can't afford to, but B, because you are on your screen constantly and you're not going out and making the mistakes that we made, getting laid by some questionable characters or whatever. Still doing that.
I blame us, our generation, Gen X. This is our fault. We did this. We wanted to do a thing where we didn't make the mistakes our parents made by, letting our kids run off and do everything. And now we've created a generation that doesn't know how to do anything. I don't mean they don't know how to. They know how to do a lot of things. But I'm saying that that's kind of an old person joke. But no, it was one of the things that one of my friends does is, like, he constantly would try and keep his kids from doing things that would put them into strange situations where they could get in trouble. It's like, you can't stop a child from finding trouble. Like, they're going to find some trouble here and there. It just has to happen. You have to let that go. You can't control everything. Right. And the attempt to control everything is what's got us in this situation where there's a lot of people who don't like to leave their house.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's not even agoraphobia. It's just, it's ennui, I mean, I feel like the people that are younger than I am and younger than you are, I really believe that our generation and the trauma that we went through, like with AIDS and with, the bomb being so prolific and, all the Reagan era bullshit. Then, we got a young president, and there was like all this hope and whatever. And then the pendulum makes broader and broader swings. It used to be, just like a little bit at a time, and we'd get some rights, and then they'd want to take those away. But then, I feel like that it's like a seesaw. Or a swing. You just keep building up momentum until we get to where we are now, and nobody can afford or wants to leave their house. So their apartment, because they can't afford a house.
Right.
So it's like, well, there is something to be said about going out and just fucking, meeting somebody and just hooking up with them, and not, everybody's like, oh, well, hookup culture is, no, I don't see that as much as people seem to purport that it's happening. I see a lot of, um, I guess I'm 54 and I've got friends who have grandchildren, who are just going into like junior high now, and all they want to do is play Pokemon and stay home, and not with their parents necessarily, but they're with their friends, but they're online, they're
Yeah.
playing Fortnite or whatever, and they're talking to their friends on their headsets, but they're not actually interacting with those people in real life. And I hope some impressionable 13-year-old sees this movie. God, did I just say that? When they're 18, and like, goes out and gets inspired by this to do stupid stuff and learn from it.
Yeah.
Because experience is the best teacher.
Absolutely. My concern, and I've had this concern for a long time, and I know I know people dismiss it as just a conspiracy theory, but I honestly think like the upper, the Wall Street types, they want to keep us divided from each other. And the more that they can keep us
100%.
in our homes, not speaking to each other, not telling each other these things, talking to each other and connecting, like the better off it is for them.
No, 100%. I think that while I don't think that COVID was a conspiracy, I think it just happened. I think that we saw a lot of very powerful billionaires who saw that as an opportunity to keep us very, very divided and keep us, my conspiracy theory is that they saw COVID and they were like, you know what? 2 weeks is not enough to keep these people locked up. We have got to get them in their house for a full year to really drive all this shit home. That's why they would have people like the lady at Target that I went to one day, who was leading a group of or COVID conspiracy people around, saying it's not a real thing, you're not going to get it, and then coughing in people's faces. So that would get, like, well, I guess we got to lock down for 2 more weeks and 2 more weeks and 2 more weeks. And, I think that I really blame Joe Biden for being president during the, oh wait, no, that didn't happen. Had a long conversation about how Joe Biden really screwed up the whole COVID thing. And I was like, girl, and this person actually really believed that he was president in 2020. I'm not going to talk about that though. I'm going to talk about the fact that I think that the oligarchs saw that we were isolating, and that was the perfect time to push everything through our computer screens, through our phones, whatever. That's one of the reasons that they came out so hard against the Black Lives Matter protests, because people were actually being safe and wearing masks and going out and doing protests and marches and things fully masked. I did it. I went when I lived in LA. I went to a bunch where everybody was masked. Nobody was, people were taking precautions, all this stuff, even outdoors. And they didn't like that. So that's one of the reasons that they came down so hard against that. And I really think it's not a conspiracy theory. I think that is the end game, is to get us isolated so that we end up in a world like WALL-E, where everything is just delivered to us and we're all, so fat and lazy and can't get out of our houses. Although I will say, based on the number of horror stories that I've been reading recently about DoorDash, I think that might be crumbling a little bit. I think that people are too smart to some people. Let me preface this. I would say probably about 2/3 of the country, as opposed to the 1/3 maggots, are too smart to actually fall for that for too long. Because I feel like there's a big rebellion coming about stuff like DoorDash and all, all of a sudden everybody's against DSA. It's just DSA is the new DEI. And I feel like the more people, feckless Democrats who don't do anything in the face of fascism, they are more concerned with democratic socialists than they are actual fascists. And I think that enough people are starting to see that. And those people are really going to get swept into the dustbin of history. And thankfully, I feel like we are seeing with the genocide. Look at me. We're talking about a fucking movie, and here I am talking about genocide because I can't help myself. But, we see the genocide in Gaza. We see the people who are saying it doesn't exist. We are canceling people like Deborah Messing. She's a bitch. We're seeing this kind of, the pendulum is swinging again, and I feel like this movie, I Want Your Sex, to bring it back to that, is kind of on the vanguard of that, in that, sex can be safe, but it doesn't have to be safe.
Yeah.
Like when she says, just, and don't forget your safe word. We don't have a safe word. It's stuff like that. It's like, there's no safe word for real life most of the time. So I really feel like this movie, for whatever reason, gives me a little hope that if people see it and they engage with it a little more, that we'll start to get back to a healthy bit of hedonism and interaction with other people that I think is kind of severely lacking. So, yeah,
I mean, the return, like with Spider-Man getting people to go back out to the theater again, that was a good kick in the ass to get people out of their houses again, which was nice. But you mentioned fascists before. How about we talk about the fascist movie that came out last week? The single worst movie of 2026, called One Night Only. I fucking hate this movie, Jeff. I hate any movie that pretends that people would go along with this fascist bullshit idea that we're going to only have sex one night a year. Fuck you. I'm in prison. I don't know what the fuck you're like. You're not even putting that fucking tattoo on me. I will fucking kill somebody. Like, I hate this movie so much. There's a line in this movie where somebody says, maybe the fascists got it right this time. And I just wanted to walk the fuck out. That's how angry I was at this fucking piece of shit fucking movie. The stars are wonderful. Monica Barbaro and Callum Turner, they're doing what they can, but they're trapped in this horrific screenplay. Here's the thing, Jeff. When I saw the trailer, I thought they're gonna explain this, right? There's gonna be like a disease, or this is some kind of future dystopia that there's a reason why they can only have sex one night a year. Nope. No, we just start and people just say, yeah, the Congress passed a law and we all just kind of went along with it. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. You've got to be fucking kidding me. I just sat there just being angry at these moronic characters and just hating every inch of this fucking movie. I can't with this movie, Jeff. I really can't.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't hate it that much. I went with the premise because the premise was in front of me, and while I don't, I share your feelings on how I don't think that people would go along with it. Most of the time, I think that, but then I see people who voted for Trump 3 times, and literally think that kidnapping American citizens is fine, or killing American citizens is fine, as long as he's in office and it's not Joe Biden. That is how we get to a movie like One Night Only, to the premise of that. Are people who just, instead of licking the boot, they deep throat it, And I think that, it was, to me, if you think about it in those terms, in the terms of like politics, then I can go along with it. I know that the Ezra character who says maybe the fascists got this one right, that was a turning point for her. That's when she was just like, you could see she was not going to fuck this guy that she's wanted to fuck for a long time. she looked at him when he said that, and you could just see it on her face. She just went, no, 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 no. It's like me if I go to somebody's house and they don't have books. Um, it's just not going to happen. And I feel like he was the kind of character who he was the incel, the nice guy. When I have a date because I'm a nice guy. He was that type of guy, and I feel like that was his character. Maybe the fascist guy, right?
The incels are the heroes, Jeff. Didn't you catch that guy on the TV? They're heroes.
Well, that's propaganda for you. Just like we've got a steady diet of it. I think that the two leads in this movie were good enough to make me want them to get together. And that's what a romantic comedy like this is supposed to do.
I couldn't care less about the two of them, honestly. Other than I found them both attractive and affable. I find that all of the characters here are too dumb for me to give a fuck about, because honestly, if you willingly went along with this, you're too dumb for me to care about. You just are. They just are. She got a fucking lighthouse tattoo that tells her when it's okay to have sex because it was inspired by a children's book that her mom read her. Like, you're gonna try and romanticize the fascist sex tattoo? Really? You're telling me a kid's story about your fascist sex tattoo? Really? Fuck you, movie. Fuck right the fuck off, movie. How do you not see the implications when you're writing something that fucking stupid? I'm sorry, I can't. It's inexcusable. This movie is politically inexcusable. I feel like it's fucking grooming people to take the boot, to go, hey, maybe fashion's not that bad. It makes sex special. And what happens by the end? They fucking went along with it, and it was still fucking there at the end. And I'm like, you're gonna end the movie by not getting rid of that fucking bullshit? Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck this movie so hard.
I would honestly love to see a sequel where it was like a Hunger Games thing where they bring down the entire government. And what if it had been billed as a romantic comedy, but it was taking down the patriarchy? I mean, you know how I always rewrite movies better than they are. I feel like that would have been a better movie.
Anything would have been a better movie than this bullshit.
I didn't love this movie. I thought it was, for what it was fine. I really like Callum Turner. Like I said, we talked about him being ugly hot. Monica Barbaro, I like her. She was the only thing I really liked about A Complete Unknown. She's like an even more charming Cecily Strong. Is that who it is from SNL?
Yeah.
She's got something, and I think that eventually she's going to be a star based on something she's going to do someday that is going to really catapult her.
I think everybody involved just made a terrible mistake making this movie. And I think it's regrettable, honestly, because they're not bad, and there are moments where, like, when if you can forget for 3 seconds, just how politically inexcusable this movie is. Yes, there are moments where this could be a successful romantic comedy. They could work together just fine. They do multiple times work together just fine, but it's just such an inexcusably lazy bootlicking movie that attempting to groom people into thinking that this is okay, and it's so not okay. And it's not about sex. It's not like I'm desperate to fuck everything. I'm merely stating that there is just, I am one of those people who would not fucking go for this. I would fucking march to fucking Congress to tell you to go fuck yourself if you're trying to put a fucking tattoo on me that says whether or not I can do something. I'm not gonna. I refuse to believe that we're all that stupid. I just refuse. I know that there are many of us who are that stupid because they've proven it in the last couple of years, but there's not enough of those idiots. They're just the ones that are loud. The idiots are very loud, and I think the rest of us aren't nearly as loud as they are. But I just to make a movie like this is so irresponsible. To treat this situation that we're currently in with this fascist president, this fucking monster who is harming people on a daily basis, and to make a movie that just kind of hand waves that and hand waves his fascism and romanticizes it, that is wildly irresponsible in this day and age. Wildly. Meanwhile, Gregg Araki is out there making a fucking movie about sex that fucking matters, that talks about things that fucking matter, that talks about connection. It talks about feelings. It talks about emotions. It talks about trauma, about the reasons why people might not want to have sex or the reasons why they're afraid to have sex. It's having an honest, bold, fascinating conversation. This movie is just inexcusably stupid. And I hate it. It's the worst movie of the year. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And I'm no shade to you, my friend. I'm happy that you were able to compartmentalize as well as you have. I can't do it. I can't compartmentalize this. I can't put it in two different boxes. I hate this movie so much. That bullshit thing that she does where her job is singing commercial jingles for those drugs from TV that have the weird fucking names. That's not funny to me. Those drugs are ruining lives. Every single time they're out there ruining fucking lives, telling normal fucking people who have no fucking clue what they're doing every day to tell your doctor you need this bullshit. And our hero is willingly going along with that. Fuck you. Fuck that. Fuck, that's so hard. That is not funny to me. The songs weren't funny to me. The joke at the end about the commercial, not funny to me. Because those commercials are not funny to me. Those should not be on television. They're only allowed on television because major corporations have purchased our Congress to allow them to sell us drugs that will fucking kill you if you try to tell your doctor what to give you. Sorry. Too much?
No, I don't disagree with you on all that.
Okay.
I got to meet the movie where it's at.
I refuse.
And I wasn't as offended by the whole thing as you were. Yeah. I don't think it's a great movie. I think, I didn't see it as fascist propaganda like you did.
Wow. Okay. No, I do. I see. That's definitely what I see.
I
mean, the fascists did win at the end. I mean, they were still winning at the end, of the movie. Yeah. The fascists were still winning.
Well, yeah, I feel that on a daily basis.
Well, yeah. I'm saying that's an irresponsible thing to romanticize fascists being in charge. And to say it's okay. It's okay. Just get up and go to work tomorrow. Or, hey, that one night a year we get to fuck. So who cares about fascism? Da 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 da. I'm going to go sing a song. Sorry, I really fucking hate this.
I can tell. I as a gay person who grew up in the 80s, I can 100% say I am very, very able to compartmentalize things.
I mean, I have to admit, you've lived under a great deal more fascism than I have. I mean,
my entire life
that is imposed upon you by society is fucking real, and I acknowledge that, and I don't have that. I've never experienced any kind of I'd never experienced any kind of what do you call it? Discrimination of any kind. I'm a white guy, the whitest of white guys. I never get mistreated. It's just the truth. And
by society as a whole.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as a poor person, there are things, but that's, that's society, that's everybody who's poor goes through that. But but poor people who are black have a far harder time than I do, because they have to overcome more than I do, because there are people who just immediately decide that they're bad people just because they're black.
So one of the ways that I approach this, after talking with you about the movie, one of the ways that I would approach it, watching them find this joy in the little things, is that it's literally the only way to get through the times that we're living in, get through the AIDS crisis. There was joy in the AIDS crisis. There wasn't, it wasn't, nobody was constantly all doom and gloom. You find your joy during that. I'm thinking of people like Keith Haring, who, he celebrated life up until he died. You compartmentalize enough that you don't want to constantly die.
And if that were a life and death situation, yes, I completely understand that. These people have various different options. They could, I think, frankly, we would recall the entire Congress if they tried to pull something like this. And I think all sides would vote to recall the entire Congress if they tried to pass something that said, we're going to put a tattoo on you that says you can only have sex one time a year. We would recall the entire fucking Congress. Everybody would. There would be the biggest voter turnout in history because we like fucking in this country. It's a hobby. It's something many of us enjoy. And I just don't, it's a bad premise. And if there had been some life altering stakes involved, I would be right there with, okay, yeah, you got to take what you can get in this scenario. But these are people who are choosing fascism. They're choosing to let fascism defeat them. They choose that. And they choose their one night. Well, we can just wait till that one night a year to have sex. It's fine. Whatever. We'll just go to work tomorrow. I'll go make pizzas and you can go sing about the stupid drugs that are killing people. It's fine. We'll just go on with our lives. No, I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept this movie's premise. And everybody who's involved with it can go fuck themselves. And I hate saying that. I hate saying that because I like this director. Easy A is a good fucking movie. It's a good fucking movie. Emma Stone's fucking great in that movie. It's honest. It's smart. It's funny. What the fuck was this guy thinking? I honestly cannot understand what the fuck this guy was thinking.
I don't know. Should we talk about a classic? I feel like I need your blood pressure to come down a little bit.
I'm sorry. Am I being too much?
I just think you might have over.
I'm passionately anti-fascist. I am passionately anti-fascist.
Yes.
I won't apologize for that.
I'm also very passionately anti-fascist, and I feel like if they made this movie, but at the end the fascism was gone, but there was no real reason for it, would you still have been as mad about it?
I think if they defeated the fascism, that I would at least be able to excuse it a little bit. But they just went along with it. They didn't fuck for an entire year as they were falling in love. For the first year of the relationship, they didn't have any sex. Or they're going to walk in after that year off and find out, oh shit, we really don't actually get along, do we? I don't. Oh, you don't know how to eat pussy. Oh fuck, I got to get out of this.
But her roommate says, that's for the straights. We gay people have been getting around your laws for, for a long time. There are ways around it, obviously. I think. I feel like it's just I don't think it's as serious about the fascism as you take it.
That's the problem. That's the problem, though. It has no interest in the implication that it creates. It has no interest in discussing or dealing with the implications of its own plot. It just wants to pretend that it just wants to hand wave all that stuff and be a romantic comedy. And that's the insidious part. That they're sneaking they're trying to sneak the fascism by you and pretend that it's not a fascist movie when it's a completely fascist movie.
Okay.
I don't want any soft serve fascism. No soft serve fascism for me. Fascism is not a spoonful of sugar. It's not. It doesn't go down with some sugar. It doesn't. Sorry. I know that's basically what this is. This is fascism with a spoonful of sugar. And no, not for me. None for me, thanks.
Okay.
Fucking hate this movie. Go see what? And of course, millions of people saw this, but nobody saw I Want Your Sex. which is an actual movie about sex and about adults and about real human beings. And that's another aspect of where my frustration with this bullshit comes from, is that we get shitty movies like this that just completely have no interest in its own plot and the implications of its own plot. And then we have a movie like I Want Your Sex, which is bold and fascinating and incredibly artful and well made, and is asking bold questions and delivering characters who are just real human beings in a very over the top situation. It's just so smart, and no one goes to see that. That's frustrating me. That pisses me off.
Well, again, what we always talk about on the show is that
nobody goes to see good movies.
Nobody goes to see good movies because nobody knows they're here. I didn't know this movie was even coming out until you said, "Oh yeah, these 2 new movies are going to be at the Last Picture House."
Yeah, thank you, Last Picture House. You guys are fucking wonderful.
Yeah. So
Beck and Woods, you have my heart, sirs.
So yeah, I mean, next week we'll talk about the other movie that they had that I'd never heard of.
I'm fascinated by Maddie's Secret, because you told me it was basically a complete, almost complete down to the script rewrite of an 80s movie that I decided to take a look at because it's an 80s movie, and I do movies of the 80s. I'm like, what's that about? And so I watched that and I was like, this is not good. What could this Maddie's Secret thing be?
So a little bit for our listeners. Next, we are moving Maddie's Secret from this week to next week because we only have I think 2 movies next week, like major releases. And I've decided that our classic for next week is something you can watch on YouTube. And I really, really want you to watch it before you watch Maddie's Secret. If you can watch Maddie's Secret, because I think it's online. You said now it's
it is right? It is online.
So first, our classic for next week, before we talk about our classic for this week, is going to be Kate's Secret. It is a 1986 television movie. I think it was NBC, starring Meredith Baxter, at the time Bernie, the mom from Family Ties. And watch that, and then immediately go watch Maddie's Secret. And I guarantee you, it will give you a whole, because I didn't see it until after I watched it, and I was howling thinking about Maddie's Secret because of that movie. So,
which is hilarious, because the message you sent me after you saw Maddie's Secret is like, oh my God. Yeah, he feels like that. He feels about that way I feel about One Night Only.
So we have a group chat, and it's Sean and Bob and I, and I said that I saw Maddie's Secret, and this podcast owes me $12 for the movie and $500 for the emotional damage. And then I watched Kate's Secret, and I wish I could erase that text message. So go watch Kate's Secret on YouTube. It is free, and it's like an hour and a half. And then go watch Maddie's Secret, which is about the same runtime. And thank me next week when we talk about it. So, but our classic this week is my favorite Gregg Araki movie, The Doom Generation.
Yes, this is an early '90s film, part of his trilogy of films about dystopian futures, I guess you might say. Yeah. His apocalyptic trio, and this movie is wild. Yeah, there's multiple versions of this, and I was trying to find a free version, so I watched the free version on YouTube, and I found out that was not the right version. I had to go back and watch the director's cut because, and wow, because they cut it to 60 minutes almost on YouTube.
Oh wow.
Do not, and Gregg Araki even says this. I was listening to him in an interview today, talking about, hey, do not watch that version. He literally made them put on the Blockbuster box, the director does not approve of this cut.
Yeah, everybody has all this nostalgia for Blockbuster. Blockbuster fucking sucked. They always had versions of the movies that were cut, that were like, I got the movie Inside, and I don't know, do you know the movie Inside?
Sounds familiar, but
I may have brought this up. It's a French film. It's a Christmas movie, actually, because it takes place on Christmas Eve. But a woman is in a car accident, her husband dies, and she almost loses her baby. And then on Christmas Eve, she's going out on Christmas Day to have a C-section, and a woman comes to her house to take her baby.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Oh
not
man, that is
talking
a
about
brutal
just
movie.
borrow it. I'm talking about take it from her with scissors. Um, and it is super, super, super violent. I have I bought the unrated version from somebody on eBay, probably 15 years ago. I was still living in New York, and they sent me
Mm-hmm.
the Blockbuster version.
Mm-hmm.
That is so wildly different than the Blu-ray that I have now. Um, and it's more brutal. It's almost almost unwatchable how brutal it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Blockbuster was notorious for that. They like the movie Martyrs. Somebody
Oh
told me
yeah.
that they watched it, they rented it from Blockbuster, and then they rented it years later, or they bought it years later because they remembered something about it, and it was like, I don't think I've seen this movie before, because they took out so much stuff out of the Blockbuster movie that it was a completely different movie. Same with
That's
Doom
insane.
Generation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Like when because Martyrs was not to get too far off track, but that was a game changer for me seeing that because
Mhm.
Josh I think got me that for Christmas one year for the Christmas episode, and he was sure I was going to hate it because it was extreme horror, and
Mhm.
and I watched it and I was like, this is fucking amazing, and I've never seen anything like it.
That's French
Completely
horror
like
for you.
yeah, just to totally yeah, that just got away, like, there was just a subtlety to it, that American movies don't have, where the idea like, it's not subtle in terms of, like, what it's presented because it's certainly not subtle, but, in terms of just it doesn't soft serve anything to you, where I think all the extreme much of the extreme horror we see here in America that gets made in America is just trying to shock you. I think the French were trying to tell you something.
Oh,
There's a
100%.
much deeper message going on, which is so frustrating about well, so many American movies these days, obviously, is that so often we've just boiled things down to the most exciting part and throw out everything that matters.
Yeah, there's very few people working in horror today that care enough to tell you something. Ari Aster is one of them, although I think
Mhm.
he's getting away from horror. Um, that are they're trying to like say something more. I feel like it's just so few and far between in the States that you have to turn to French cinema. Um, and one of my coworkers who I always talk about movies with, he said that he's like, yeah, he goes, I download French movies all the time just because I don't care that much about American horror movies anymore because they're all exactly the same. And he's not wrong.
Yeah,
Although
I mean
we've gotten some stuff like Mother Mary, which is arguably a horror movie. Um, some really, really good ones. But yeah, overall, American horror is not as shocking as you would want it to be.
yeah, because the real great shock comes from something like well, we talked about, Titane last week, and we talked a little bit about Raw, which is like another movie that has like a much deeper meaning. It's also shocking and kind of and scary in its implications, and eager to deal with those implications in a
Yeah.
way that is willing to make the audience uncomfortable. Whereas just we live in a society run by Wall Street bros who think that they can, if they just boil things down to the most exciting part, people will buy it, and the quality of it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Everything
like,
they turn everything into fast food. That's what they do. That's what these Wall Street guys do is they turn everything into fast food because they
mhm,
think that that'll sell quickly and they can make the fastest buck off of it, and the quality does not matter.
private equity ruined everything.
Fuck
Um,
yes. Oh,
you
and
know,
Trump making it easier for them to do that is just God, classic Trump, isn't it?
yeah.
Classic fucking Trump.
Well, and right now, Larry Ellison's son, who owns Paramount Pictures, they're trying to do a merger with Warner Brothers
Mhm.
Discovery, and he is threatening to take Paramount Pictures, one of the premier. movie studios out of California if this merger doesn't go through.
Go for
That's
it.
that.
Fuck off.
That's how they are trying to strangle this business because they want to have one studio making everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fascism. They're fascists because
yes.
this is how they're going to try and exercise further control over us. And Trump is going to try and help them make that happen because he's a fascist and he can see his own power slipping away and he wants more control. He's just desperately clinging to control when he's not falling asleep.
He's just moving. They just caught him in a moment. It's like a photograph.
A 5-minute photograph?
Right?
With a girl who's continuously having to try and shock him awake.
Oh, yeah, I think that's the sequel to Companion. The pregnant robot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, somebody said, who are they going to replace Carolyn Levitt with? I said, I think it's going to be the pregnant robot from the Oval Office. So, yeah.
Oh shit. That's funny.
But yeah, let's talk about the Doom Generation.
Yes,
the
Doom
nihilism
Generation.
that is the Doom
This
Generation.
remarkably 90s nihilistic road movie. Seemingly a couple, maybe kind of a couple that don't quite know. She definitely is much more in control of this relationship than he is. And he's just kind of along for that ride. They pick up a guy played by Johnathon Schaech, who is very bold and sexual and challenging and yeah, they both seem to want to fuck him.
Wouldn't you? I mean, I wanted like my top 10 hottest guys of all time. Johnathon Schaech in the Doom Generation, like Eric Estrada and Chips, like on the Mount Rushmore of hot guys in Jeff's mind. Johnathon Schaech in the Doom Generation is the most fuckable man who possibly ever lived. I'm just gonna
wow. Okay, all right. It's the things that he does in this movie. Certainly, it's not for the straights.
It's barely for the gays.
This is his heterosexual movie, as it says. Gregg Araki was telling a story on this podcast I was listening to today that somebody the person who came to him with this $800,000 budget, the most money he's ever had to make a movie at that time, and said, "Can you make this but straight or heterosexual?" He's like, "Yeah, I mean, kind of." So his thing was to put right at the front of the movie a heterosexual adventure. It's very funny.
This movie is less straight than Lindsey Graham and Josh Hawley put together.
Oh, I know. That's the ironic fun of this movie. It's also just scary at times and brilliant and bold, and Parker Posey shows up and you're like, fuck, that's Parker Posey. Oh my god.
Amanda Bierce is in the same scene. Unrecognizable Amanda Bierce.
Yeah.
Margaret Cho is in this movie. Dustin Nguyen. This is when I think of Gregg Araki, this is who I think. This is like the movie, the cast, the cameos. Lauren Hughes and Christopher Knight from The Love Boat and The Brady Bunch playing newscasters. I just this is the quintessential Gregg Araki movie for me.
You can sense that, like, he's as much as he's making a dystopic, a sexually provocative film, he's having a great time doing it because he's never had this much money before, even if it's not that much money. Because I mean, $800,000 in a budget is not a lot of money, but for him, I mean, he made the previous movie. I can't remember the name of it now. For like $20,000 is what he said, and And so having $800,000 to play with, you can just imagine him like a kid in a candy store going, I got it. Can I hire Lauren Tews and Christopher Knight to play? Can I? Can I really? Okay. Oh my God. It was just, I'm laughing a lot. It's not a funny movie, but a nervous laughter was kind of my reaction to just everything that kept happening. This symphony of chaos that he builds throughout. Is just so fascinating to watch that honestly, just like nervous laughter and like what the fuck is going to happen next is just kind of like where I was at. I was kind of on edge. I had some gum, this caffeine gum, and I shouldn't have eaten that. I shouldn't have been chewing on that before this movie because I got a little hyper watching it.
That's understandable because this movie is a hyper movie. It is in every sense of the word. It's hyper, like the cinematography is hyper, the cuts, the editing are all hyper, the sexuality is hyper. And I take a little bit of umbrage with the fact that you said it's not a comedy because I feel like it is very much a very dark gay sensibility comedy. In
That's
that,
probably the straight guy in me, and like, am I just supposed to laugh at that?
well, like, okay, take Rose McGowan. Before she was Rose McGowan, before she was in Scream and everybody knew who she was, she is being what you think Rose McGowan is, like who you picture her from Scream and from these other movies that she's done and Charmed and everything. And she is so just her sense of humor that underlies pretty much everything she does, even when she's, talking about her abuse and whatever, she's just got that underlying kind of, okay, well, this is what it is now. And she has arguably the best line in this movie. You're like a life support system for a cock. I used to say that to people all the time. Like I broke up with a dude one time and he was like, I'm like, you're like a life support system for a cock. That's all you are. And that's the kind of that dark humor is I saw that pretty prevalent here. With the exception of the last scene of the movie, which is heartbreaking and horrifying and just like one of the worst deaths in a movie that
oh my God. Yeah.
it's just like
the brutality is just, it's, and oh God. Yeah.
The fact that he got the 3 gay porn stars to star as the Nazis in this movie is also funny because it's like, that's part of that humor that I'm talking about that like, you might not see because you've had, your whole life you've been straight and your humor is not rooted in tragedy as much.
I'm gonna pass some of the blame from because I do think this is funny, but I was also listening to another podcast today. Two old queens or something. These 2 gay men and their friend were talking about this movie, and they were like, and one of the questions that they asked about it, because they're looking for the gayest movie ever made, and they've got a bunch of categories that they use to determine the actual gayness of a movie, and this ended up in the top 10 gayest movies of all time, but it could have gone higher because one of them was arguing that they didn't think this movie was camp, and I'm like, it's not? Okay, like, yeah, I can see what you're saying, like it's not traditional camp, but there are elements of camp like that, like what you just said about the Nazis being gay porn stars, like that's camp. But they were kind of arguing back and forth about whether or not whether the dark humor worked or not, and I was kind of like, they both had a good point in that, and I was like, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I laughed a lot. I used to own this movie. I don't know what happened to it. I had to rent the movie because I don't know what happened to my copy. But we watched this movie probably 2 or 3 times a month when I lived in the Chicago suburbs. We would watch it and we would quote it and we would laugh at it and we would just it was just a happening for us. It was like something that, um, like we talk about Megan 2.0 and this woman's work. We talk that's like a meme with us, and that's how this movie was in the 90s and the early
Yeah.
2000s. Um,
I didn't see this
it,
until like 2000, like till after what was that Mysterious Skin, I think it was. Until after he
oh,
made that,
okay.
I did. That's when I first saw this movie, so I didn't see it in its heyday.
I used to own it on VHS actually, and then I owned it on DVD. Um, I'm gonna own it again because I love it. I adore it. I feel like it's clueless for misunderstood gay guys. Um, and I know that sounds really fucked up and kind of through the looking glass, but
Considering the ending, yeah, that's
um, but it's that up until the very end of the movie, it is fucking hilarious. It is dark. It's like shocking,
mhm.
especially the first time you see it. It's like one of the most shocking movies I saw up to that point, and that's when I really started to get into stuff like this,
Yeah,
because of this movie.
the series of accidental deaths. God.
When he cuts Dustin Gwen's head off, and he's like barfs and he starts talking and screaming at him, and
Hmm.
the head is just sitting there yelling at him, and then like the head, and like, the next night they're on the news and they're like, yeah, the head is still talking. So then the next night after the next killing, they're like, do you think that guy's head is still talking?
Oh my god.
I think that it's such like it is like the quintessential, like, okay, Gregg Araki is very much like a John Waters in that he's got his stable of people that are in his movies, and he's got these ideas that might not always make sense. He's got his like mainstream movies like John Waters did with uh Hairspray.
Mhm.
He goes mains, or even A Dirty Shame or Serial Mom, especially. That he does these, but they've still got that kind of, hey kids, let's put on a show behind them. And I feel like even with I Want Your Sex, Gregg Araki still has that, and
Yeah.
it's much slicker than this movie. It is much more grounded in a plot, but it still has that same sensibility. Like he has that John Waters and um that just that kind of sensibility. And it's a gay sensibility for sure, because
Mhm.
he is gay. He's in his 60s, which is, about the time that all of this stuff, Richard Linklater and him and all the like early 90s auteurs really had that sensibility. And I think that it shows from his very first up until I Want Your Sex. And Doom Generation is kind of like the pinnacle of the Gregg Araki-ness for me,
Mm.
of all his
I
movies.
I think also a thing that may have affected me from like seeing it. I couldn't see it as like as a hilarious comedy. Is that I was treating it more like an art film,
Mhm.
and yeah, that I think that just comes from my like my deep respect for Gregg Araki, on just the assumption that I'm watching more of a like a oh that this is supposed to be kind of serious in a
Arty.
way, like a in that Sundance sort of way.
Well, yeah, but like Sundance movies aren't always arty.
Yeah.
It has a reputation because it's a film festival and it's Robert Redford, and but I feel like when you get a filmmaker like Gregg Araki or John Waters, or that that sensibility, then it really kind of elevates the comedy to an art house kind of comedy for people. But it's really at the heart of it. It's just kind of a comedy of camp, and um, it's using camp to really kind of show the dystopia of what it was like to be a teen at the time.
Yeah. I think
And
I think I also kind of thought going in that this is kind of like a Gen X Blood Simple.
Well,
and I think I think that also kind of fixed my perception of what it was going to be. And so I think this movie's incredible. And I was just I was also like laughing nervously throughout and trying to figure out what I was supposed to be laughing at. And just kind of in shock trying to because I don't remember anything of the first time I saw it for some reason. Yeah, I think that was just kind of all over the place. I think the next time I watch it, it's going to be very, very funny.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to watch this again because this is a very good movie.
Oh, 100%. It's just everybody is perfect for their role. Like, you couldn't have this character, you couldn't switch any of the roles in this. Like,
No,
there are some
absolutely not.
There are some people that, could swap roles, like James Duval could not play Xavier. He could not play X at all.
He could play Rose McGowan.
Possibly. But he's got that kind of stoner vibe to him, from like, even in Independence Day where he was the smartest one, he still has that vibe. I actually have like a 1 degree of separation because one of my friends that I went to high school with is friends with him and they've made some movies together.
That's cool.
I don't know if you saw the movie Sushi Girl.
No.
A friend of mine from high school, who's a few years older than me in high school, he actually produced that movie. So, it's he's got that stoner mentality quality, and it's exactly what the character needed. He's perfectly cast. Rose McGowan, because she's got that underlying, she's got the humor, but she's also got that wounded bird kind of feel to her in everything. Because those girls that put on the airs and underneath, they're just like they've been hurt.
Yeah,
that comes across, especially in this role, like 1,000%. And Johnathon Schaech is he's eating every bit of scenery he can. He is being as sexy as he can. He is being as sexual as he can. The way he needles both of the other two throughout the movie and doesn't really believe that he actually killed these people. Like, he's just like, I can't fucking believe I did this. But at the same time, underneath that, it's like, is he just putting them on? Is he, does he really get off on this? It's like kind of like Brad Pitt in California,
Yeah.
Sometimes.
If California took that character seriously, he'd be this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's this is just such a singular movie for me. I haven't watched it in several years. I forgot about the ending because I think I blocked that ending out.
Oh God, because it's just I don't even know what to compare it to. Like all of the various symbolism, and then to top it off with the line "photographed on location in hell."
Yeah. Well, it's very American History X. That brutality and that.
Oh God, yeah.
That cinema verite almost feel, and that it's shot with just like a strobe light, a very slow strobe light, makes it even worse. Because you don't see, there's nothing you actually see in that last scene that is explicit. Yeah. It's all implicit, and that's, again, like the shark in Jaws, what makes it scarier, what makes it worse.
And then there's something about that just Doritos. It's just, what the fuck? I just couldn't, like,
the banality of evil that we've talked about.
Oh my God.
This happened, and they're just, okay, well, I guess we're just going to drive away and eat Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah.
I had the choice to have Cool Ranch Doritos that were set out at the break table the next day after I watched this movie, and I was like, I'm going to go for sour cream and onion.
And it's too close to home.
Yeah. But it's this.
I can't eat them now without thinking of that poor man.
But yeah,
lying in a pool of his own everything. Oh my
If
god.
I look back at my life and I think about movies that probably the top 10 most effective movies to me, this is going to be up in the top 10. Because you don't realize at the time when you're watching it that's going to inform how you see things.
Yeah.
Um, and this was 1995, I think. Was it 95? Yeah. Um, the AIDS crisis was still a thing. Gregg Araki was a young gay man living through this in LA, and there is that nihilism of that definitely informs this movie. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it is heavy there, and you could say that the three Nazis at the end are, there's an argument that can be made that they are like the AIDS coming to get you for enjoying your life or whatever.
Mm. Mhm.
Um,
Oh, absolutely. Is that yeah, and I think Gregg Araki has said something very similar to that on the podcast I was listening to, because that is exactly one of the things that came up.
and like we said earlier, as somebody who's lived through that and thankfully came out relatively unscathed physically, um, I, you know, I, I can imagine if I had been better looking and skinnier when I was young, that I might not be having this conversation right now. And I could understand where, even if I was, how things would have, impacted me more. But the fact that you can see that just based on experience tells you how effective the movie really is. So,
And I'm going to say something. And for people who don't understand the AIDS crisis, there's a privilege that so many of us have that we don't acknowledge, and it's not that you should feel bad. It's not that you should feel a sense of grief or something. It's that you don't understand what it's like, because these are people who lost so many friends and had to be there and watch them die. And you've never been through that. And you need to understand that that is a privilege that you have, that you didn't live through that.
yeah,
And you need to be more empathetic to the fact that they did go through that. And that's really all that people ask of you. When it's not about being woke, it's not about that bullshit. It's just have a little bit of empathy for what these people went through. Even
yeah,
if you've never been through it, that is your privilege. And that's what we're talking about when we discuss privilege, is that you have the privilege of not having been through that.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the fact that people now are calling things woke just because it shows empathy to certain groups or whatever. Um, that goes to show the just the horrible messaging that has gone to, you know, gay people, trans people, black people, anybody that's different,
Yeah.
you know. So
No, woke is basically just an attack on minorities. That's what that is. It's
yeah,
just a way. It's a way for people to launder their racism and their homophobia.
yep,
Plain and
one
simple.
hundred percent, 100%.
Well, we've
Well,
solved
this
the
is
world's
certainly
problems.
taking a turn.
we we watched two incredible movies and one fascist movie, and it's quite something. It's quite. I think my reaction to both Doom Generation and I Want Your Sex should justify my reaction to One Night Only.
No, hey, I understand where you're coming from with One Night
Yeah,
Only. I again am very very good at compartmentalizing. Um, and
I've had
I
the
did.
privilege of not having to compartmentalize in the way you have, so that makes sense.
So now that you understand where I'm coming from and I understand where you're coming from, we both have those disparate um feelings on the same thing. And I don't again, it's not a great movie. I like the performances of the two. I thought they had incredible chemistry, but they don't have nearly the chemistry of the three leads in Doom Generation. or the
Yeah,
two
no,
leads
not even
in I
close.
Want Your Sex.
Not even
So,
close. Gregg Araki,
next,
you're a legend, and thank you for what you've done, because your movies are incredible. It was just an incredible work.
Yeah, we have to do more of his movies in the future.
Well, yeah, I need to watch Mysterious Skin again.
I haven't seen that movie since it came out.
Yeah, gotta watch that again soon.
So next week, what do we have?
The end
Maddie's
of
Secret.
the end of Oak Street with Ewan McGregor and the brilliant Anne Hathaway is having she and Olivia Wilde. It's a death match between the two of them for being the best there is right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Anne's ahead on points, but she's also got 4 movies as opposed to only 2. So,
and she's gonna have 5.
Oh my God, there's still Verity to come this year. Yeah. My God, does she stop working for a second?
Well, she will pretty soon. She's pregnant.
She's the new Samuel L. Jackson. She's in everything.
She's gonna be playing Nick Fury in Doomsday.
And shilling Capital One.
Oh my God! Don't give her any ideas.
All right, that's next week.
The end of Oak Street, Maddie's Secret, and the classic is Kate's Secret. I cannot implore you to watch that first and then watch Maddie's Secret enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and are we going to do Nimrods? Is that a special?
I don't even know what that is. I don't really I have no clue. I think it's something to do with Green Day.
So it's I heard about it on the Office Ladies podcast. It is directed by Jenna Fischer's husband. And they are friends with the members of Green Day, and Lee was talking to Billy Joe Armstrong and some of the other members, and they were telling stories, and they said, we'd love to do a movie about that, but we don't want to do a biopic. So it is the story of a punk band that gets pranked into thinking they are going to go and open up for Green Day at their New Year's Eve show. I don't know if it's a Fathom event or if it's a wide release thing. So if it's a wide release thing, sure,
maybe
we can do it. Yeah. But if it's a Fathom, and then there's some Angel Studios movie, but we don't do Angel Studios on this movie.
But what's going on with Jeff Daniels? What is this? The Jeff Daniels playing Ronald Reagan in a movie that's making Reagan a hero? Jeff Daniels? What? You didn't know this?
I just saw I saw the poster. I'm like, that looks like an Angel Studios poster. And I looked and I saw the little Arc Angel, which I think it's supposed to be Archangel. I think that's an actual thing. Their little logo. And I was like, I'm not even going to open up the IMDb page. Does not matter to me whatsoever.
Jeff Daniels looks like, you remember the video Genesis did for Land of Confusion?
With the spinning image puppets.
He looks like Reagan for the Land of Confusion video.
Oh shit! Now I got to look at that poster. Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, I thought I knew who Jeff Daniels was, and now I'm just so confused. I don't think I know who he is now.
Is that is that Jared Harris as Mikhail Gorbachev?
I believe it is, yes.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And the description on the Cinemark website, President Reagan races against time to salvage a deal with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev that could dismantle nuclear arsenals or ignite disaster. With pressure mounting from advisors, intelligence agencies, and history itself, every word spoken brings the world closer to peace or destruction or dementia. Oh, absolutely not. We are not going to, first of all, we are not going to sane wash Ronald Reagan.
Nope.
The man was a monster. We've talked about AIDS on this show tonight a lot, and he never said AIDS until his second term after it had decimated hundreds of thousands of people. Fuck Ronald Reagan. Fuck Nancy Reagan. Fuck his whole administration, and he is one of the reasons we are where we are today.
Yeah. He let the AIDS crisis rage because he thought it was only killing gay people. Fuck you. You fucking monster. You absolute fucking bastard.
And him and his
rot in hell, Ronnie.
Yeah, the throat goat wife of his, fuck her too.
Amen.
Do you ever hear what they did to Rock Hudson, who was a friend of theirs from Hollywood?
Oh, fuck yeah! Fuck, just absolute garbage.
Rash. So we are not doing The Brink of War because
nope.
Fuck that.
Because Angel Studios is banned.
Yes. I'm just gonna say this. From now on, we won't even mention that there's an Angel Studios release coming out.
Yeah, it's fair.
They are verboten to even be spoken about on the air, such as it is.
If I get a whiff that your movie is right wing, I'm not even going to give you any attention.
Yeah,
just that's the line for me right now.
Do you think? Do you wish that One Night Only had been released by Angel Studios so we didn't have to watch it?
It would make more sense. It would make a hell of a lot more sense. Like that. Of course, they put that out. Like, yeah, that's totally them. A fascist company makes fascist movies. Yeah, definitely. Like they're basically they're basically the the arm of the of the government. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What they've done to George Washington. That's just that bullshit. Like they're a propaganda studio.
Yeah.
So no, we don't entertain government propaganda on this show, unless it stars ugly hot Callum Turner.
well. Yeah, I don't know. He's got a really nice ass. I'm sorry. I was like, turn around. And he did. And he had a nice ass.
It's frustrating. Monica Barbaro is a charming actress. Then to see her in this, just disappointing to me. Okay. But anyway. All right, Jeff. Thank you.
See you next week.
Next week.